Hey gang, welcome back to another episode here at New Soil Casting. Evidently, I started a little bit of confusion about how I use the heat mats and everything. So we want to go just a little bit further in depth about that and talking about how I don't trust the thermostats on them that much, and I constantly keep a check on everything. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna check some of the beds with this right here. This is a temp gun that I had back when I was nitromethane racing little RC cars, and you had to have a quality temperature gauge so you could tune your engines properly. So I trust this wholeheartedly back when I was racing, and I trust it now while I'm doing work for them. Can't get it anymore, but I've I really got a lot of faith in this thing right here. So what we're gonna do is, if y'all can handle it, because I'm gonna have to, we're gonna move around. We're gonna go outside, and then we're gonna come back in here in the building and look at some stuff. So if y'all can bear with the camera moving and all that, I apologize ahead of time for that. But you know, for some reason my camera won't let me flip the screen back and forth when it's recording. So we're just going to deal with a little bit of an inconvenience, and I apologize for that. One of these days I'll get a better camera. But for now, this is what we got. So let's go outside and check everything out there, and then we'll come back in here and we'll look at the inside beds, and then talk some more about the breeder trays. So let's get going. So guys, I just wanted to move everybody around. Hey Sebastian. Hey Sasha. We're gonna come out here and look at the outside bins first and check them out and see how everything is going. I'll show you what I mean. Right now it's 30 degrees out here outside, and let's see what the temp is saying on the bed we're gonna be working in. Alright. This bed says it's 49.1 degrees. Now do I believe that? Probably not. I don't believe that whole bed is 49 degrees. So let's get the top off of it and see what the temperature really is in this bed. Ugh. Try to do this one-handed, one-armed. It may be 49 degrees close to them heat mats, but that's not the temperature of the whole bin. All right. Look at all them worms, guys. Up there eating their food. As you can see, right there is the probe. There's the probe for the temp. And it said it's 49 degrees, so we're going to shoot it right here. Then my trusty temp gun says it's 41.9. So it's not even 49 degrees. That's why I say I don't trust these thermostats, and I carry my own thermostat with me. Now you get out here away from the bin. You see how far it is from this mat to the bed? We're talking about maybe a foot. The temperature will be totally different here because it's nowhere near the heat mat. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be, it's 30 degrees out here. It may be a little bit higher than 30 degrees. So let's see. Let's not try to get on no food because the temperature will be up because it's fermenting. There you go. It says it's 36.9. Your beds are always going to be higher than the ambient temperature due to the worms working, the microbes working, the food breaking down in there. So even with the 30 degrees out here, this bed was shooting 35.9. So it's almost 6 degrees higher than what the bed is. It's 6 foot. Sorry guys, it's 6 degrees higher than the ambient temperature. Another question I had about the heat mats. All right, as you can see, this is all dry. Every bit of it's dry. Now, the reason I put my heat mats on top because I don't heat rises, and if I put the mat on the bottom of the bin, then it's going to dry the whole bin out. With the mat on top, you can see that's dry and crusty, but I'll guarantee you, 1 inch down, and there you got moisture. Then 1 inch down from that mat is 80 degrees, just where we want it. Now the whole bin's not dried out. We went 1 inch below and we got good moisture, good moisture. So with my mat on top, I'm not drying out my whole bin. I'm merely drying 1 inch down below that. All right, so let's go inside and talk about a little bit on the inside. Come on, y'all. So I just proved to you that your bins are always going to be 5 degrees higher. And we're in the winter. It's 30 degrees now. In the summer, it may be a little bit higher because I mean, you may think that it's 70 outside, but your bin's going to be close to 80. All right, now we inside. And sorry, I'm going to have to spin you around, and this is going to get a little bitty cattywampus, but I'm sorry. Now that I can't see my screen, I don't know where you guys are at. So hopefully that's going to work right there. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to put my favorite. Well, no, we're going to look at something else. I'm sorry. We're just going to look at the inside bins. All right, we got an inside bin right here. In this room, in this building, it says it's 68 degrees. Oh, look at all the worms. And now you see this bin has no heater in it. None. Because I'm heating that side, and I was doing an experiment to see what this side do with no heaters. So the building is 68 degrees in here. So let's see what 60, I'm sorry. So let's see what the ambient temperature of the bin is. Aha. This end of the building, the bin is running at, whoop, it don't want to focus, 54.5 degrees with no heater in the building, and that's during winter. So that bin is thriving well with just the bin heat itself. No heater on it, just ambient temperature. So that tells me one thing. I don't need to put heaters. I don't need to put heating mats on my bins in the building because they're staying above the threshold of the worms anyway. And that's a good thing to see. So now we know, and we won't have to waste time putting heating pads in here. Y'all stop that. Dogs out there, they out there trying to fight each other. All right, let me get a drink, y'all. Let's talk about breeder bins. Well, not breeder bins, but cocoon bins. Here's the cocoon bin we made. And you notice I have no heat on it whatsoever. Ooh, it's hot in this building. Hold on, y'all. But there's no heat mat on it. Nothing to try to warm it up at all. Strictly because I don't want them hatching right now. I want them to stay dormant until actual spring's here. So when I'm starting to move everything around, I'll have a place to put them. Because usually these bins, these right here, these wooden bins is what I put my worms in and I'm selling. I just put them in there, and I'll harvest and put 2 pounds in there, 2 pounds in that one, 2 pounds in that one. And that's how I set it up to sell. But right now, if it was summertime and I was wanting to get these cocoons to hatch, would I put my mat on top or on bottom? Well, being that it's summertime and I'm trying to get them hatched, I would put it on the bottom because once again, heat rises. But I would not run the temperature way up there. You know, they say around 80 degrees is when your cocoons likes to hatch off better. So what I would do is I would put the mat, and I use a small mat on my cocoon bins because I don't want to take up the whole area of the bin. I just want to take up the center section. So this gets the air off, this gets air off, that gets air off, and that gets the air off. So the heat's right here. But I want my bin to be running at 80 degrees, but my mat won't be running at 80 degrees because once again, heat rises. And when the cover on there, it just keeps the heat down inside the whole bin. But when you use a mat on a cocoon bin, you got to keep your cocoon bin as moist as you do your breeder bins, because you know it's going to dry out some, and you want to keep a check on it. So what I'll do is I'll have my bin a little bit wetter than what it should be. I'll give you that. But I'll put the mat on the bottom of it. I will set the temperature to 80 on that. Let it run for 2 days. I know I'm not in trouble because there's no way in the world that mat's going to dry off the water that I got in here in 2 days. So I'll come in here in 2 days. I'll stir it up. Once I mix it up, I'll come back that afternoon and check the temperature because all the heat that was in the center I've done dispersed throughout the whole bin. And so I'll come back in with my temp gun and check the temperature on this side of the bin. If it's running 75, 76, then I know I'm going to turn that down because the more this dries out, the hotter it's going to get in there. Because once water starts evaporating, that's how you get steam. Water starts evaporating, it produces the heat. And that's why you get steam. You can't, it'll burn you. So as it heats up and evaporates, the water's causing heat. The microbes in there are still breaking down stuff. They're causing heat. Your mat is causing heat. So you want to dial in your thermostat with your handy dandy little temp gun. That way you know that you're not going to dry your bin completely out. Don't never crank that thing up to 80. Throw your worms in there. Not moist, but just where they clump a little bit. You can't even squeeze a drop out of them. When I put, because you're just asking for disaster. When I put mine in here, when I squeeze that dirt, all you're going to get is water just running out. Because first of all, I'm trying to heat the whole bin, and secondly, I know I'm going to run it 2 days without even looking at it. I'm going to come in 2 days and I'm going to check it, and then from that point on, I know where to set my thermostats. Now, periodically when I come in every 7 days. I come in and I turn to check the moisture, look, see if any cocoons are hatching, and to check the temperature. That's it. I'm not putting no food or nothing in there. I'm just testing everything to make sure that it's running right. Because I do not, and I cannot stress it enough, I do not trust the thermostat. I trust my knowledge. I trust my little temp gun that I use, and that's how I go by everything. So please, don't just put the mat down, throw it under your bin, and walk away from it because you can't do that. Another way you can do it is put your mat on top. If you put your mat on top, then you really don't have a lot to worry about. I just showed you out there in that bin. Them mats have been running constant for a month and a half now because of the cold weather. And you've seen it was just 1 inch down. Now you've been with me in the other videos where I turn it, but they only get turned every 2 weeks during the winter. So if you put your mat on top, you're not going to dry your whole bin out. You're going to concentrate the heat right in here. But I want the whole bin warmed up. So that's why I put the mat on bottom on my cocoons and not on top. Is that pretty understandable? Y'all got that? Because you're only going to heat about 1 inch down of this. And I want the whole bin warming up. I don't want the cocoons here to hatch and these not hatch. So that's the whole reason I put it under the bin. I hope that clears up just a little bit. Like I said, you got a bunch of circumstances going on in here that causes heat. The microbes, the food breaking down, the water burning off, all that produces heat. So you gotta stay on top of your bins. And that's hopefully that helps a little bit. Maybe clarifies a little the misconception on what's going on with the heating pads. And you can always email me, call me. I tell you everything I know. I'm not trying to hide anything. I really don't have nothing to hide. So hopefully this video will help y'all out in understanding a little bit more about how I run everything. And once again, if there's anything else I can do to help clarify things, just give me a holler. I'll tell you everything I know. All right, gang. I got a lot to do today, so I'm gonna get back at it. This is Bobby with New Soul Castings. I'm asking you to please like, subscribe, share out, throw me a comment. Let me know if you like the video or not. Sorry for the having to turn you around and walk back and forth, but it's the only way I knew how to show you. But y'all just keep on watching my videos, and we'll get to 1,000 eventually. And I appreciate every one of y'all. We love y'all. This is Bobby with New Soul Casting saying, see y'all later.